Good evening. This is Mrs. Lehman from Math with Mrs. Lehman. Today we are talking about lessons 11 and 12. So to start class, we are going to review lesson 11's homework, and then we're going to move into double number lines. So is everybody in my sixth period class ready to roll? You can sense the enthusiasm. All right, so first thing, we're going to talk about these people and their juice mixtures. So it says, yesterday we talked about Laredo, Franca, and Milton, and they had made some lovely juice recipes, but today they are changing the recipe. So we have Laredo, Franca, and Milton, and it says each of the three people made juice again, but this time they were making apple juice. These people love juice.
Yes.
Whose juice has the greatest water to juice concentrate ratio, and whose juice would taste the strongest? So we're essentially figuring out who's got the wateriest, thinnest juice. You guys know, like if you make Kool-Aid or something like that and you put in too much water and you can barely taste it. It's the same kind of thing, except for it's talking about juice, right? And whose juice is going to have a really strong, very juicy taste. So what you need to do when you have these, first of all, you did have to find the value of each of these tables. So who can give me the value for Laredo's recipe? Jordan. 6-1, very good. He did that by simplifying this water right here, water to juice concentrate ratio. So that would be 6-1. How about Franca's juice? Jacob.
5-2.
5-2, very good. So he divided the top by 3, and that would give you 5. Not the top, I mean the water. And then the juice by 3, and that would give you 2. And then last but not least, my buddy Milt. Michael, what do you think?
8-3.
8-3, very good. So we have that info, which would go down right here. So Laredo was 6-1. Milton, thank you, was 5-2. And Franca was... Oh! I was misinformed. I should have just scrolled up. All right, so Franca is 5-2. Thanks for the effort, kids. Just be careful. And the last one is 8-2. 8-3. See, I was just testing you. Ha ha ha. Sure I was. All right. So that's just easy. Go up there and look. All right. Now we have to put the juices in order from the strongest apple taste to the weakest apple taste. So this caused some kids a little bit of confusion because they looked at this and they said, oh my goodness, I don't know, because yesterday when we simplified these, it all was like 6-1 or 5-1, and it always had the same amount of juice. And you notice in these examples, their water doesn't match, their amount of juice doesn't match, and then you got confused. So what you're essentially looking for when you see a problem like this is you want to find a match. So if we look at Franca's juice and Milton's juice, and you pay attention to their water or their juice concentrate columns here, you're looking for something that they have in common. All right, so what do they have in common when we look at that, Riley?
For the juice, Franca and Milton both have 6.
Very good. So the 6 for the juice amount is the same for both of these guys. So those are easy to compare. We have one person putting in 15 cups of water and the other person putting in 16. But we don't know about Laredo because he does not have a row with 6 in it. It would go right here. So we know it's got to be somewhere between what two numbers? Brianna.
Somewhere in between numbers. I don't think that question.
Okay, so if we put the 6 between the 5 and 7 for juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding that on her paper right now. What would that come out to for water? It'd be somewhere between what two numbers?
30 and 42.
Okay, do you see why? So we know it's got to be somewhere between 30 and 42. So let's be exact about this though. So if we have 6 cups of juice, we got to figure out how much water. Then we can compare them all. So Any ideas on how we can go about doing that? If we want to make sure that Laredo has 6 cups of juice. Riley, you have an idea?
You could take 12 to 2 and multiply by 3.
12 to 2 and multiply it by 3. Very good. So we know 2 times 3 is 6. So 12 times 3 is 36. Good. Or some people looked at the 18 in the 3 and they said 3 times 2 is 6. So 18 times 2 is 36. So you had a few different options there. But 36 to 6 is the amount, the ratio that we're going to use to compare to Franca and Milton. So they all have the same amount of juice now. Who has the strongest apple taste? Who would have the strongest apple taste? So would we want the person with less water added or more water added if we want the strongest apple taste?
Less water.
Very good, Brianna. So who is that person with the least amount of water added to that same amount?
Franca.
Very good. So Franca only added 15 cups of water. And then who would be in the middle, everybody? Milton. Again, Milton in the middle. And then this time, who had the most watered down juice of all? Christoph? Yeah, can you say into the mic, please?
Loreno.
His name's at Laredo. All right, so doesn't matter if you know how to pronounce it, as long as you know how to write it down in the correct spot. We're good. All right, so Franca, Milton, and Laredo in order from strongest to weakest. Any questions on that? Jordan? Okay, would you like to explain that, please?
So since you can compare it easier, 6 to 1 is for every 1 juice there's 6 water.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like he's probably last, but since you haven't looked at the others, you don't know yet. So for every 5 of these, there's 2 of those. So that would mean that there's more than here because he only has 3 for every 8. Because 5 plus 5 is 10, so we'd have 4 for every 10. So that's
Okay, so it sounds like you did a lot of proportional work in your head. All right? You have a good mathematical thinking brain. You don't even realize that you were doing that. But essentially, in your head, you were making them fractions and then comparing those fractions, which is exactly what you need to do. When you guys were in younger grades, you learned to compare fractions. But before you compared fractions, you had to make sure you had a common denominator before you did that. So we're kind of doing the same thing. Instead of a common denominator, we're talking about a common amount of juice. All right? Concentrate. Any questions? All right, we're going to move on. We're going to quickly go through this question down here. How is, nope, part F. Whoa. Back up. All right, Max and Sheila are making orange juice. This should be the juice lesson. All right, they're making orange juice. And Max mixed 15 cups of water with 4 cups of juice. Sheila made her juice by mixing 8 cups of water, 3 cups of juice. We need to compare these ratio tables. State which beverage has a higher juice concentrate to water. So we want the least watered down again. All right, so we should have 2 ratio tables, one for Max, one for Sheila. And we're talking about water to juice. So you should have those categories laid out. All right, and we are going to start with our ratio for Max, and it was 15 cups of water, 4 cups of juice. So we're going to keep scaling that up. Okay, so what would the next row be? Brianna's on fire today. Go ahead, Brianna.
30 to 8.
30 to 8, very good. So she's going to keep adding 15 to this column. She's going to keep adding 4 to the juice column. So what would the next row be, Stephanie?
45 and 12.
Very good, 45 to 12. And the next one?
forgot.
It's 15 plus 45.
15 plus 45 is 60.
Very good. So 60. And 4 plus 12 is
16.
16. Good. All right. So I would recommend doing a few of them, then stopping, completing your other ratio table, and then going back to see if there's any matches. And if there's not, you can keep continuing with this. We could go on with this forever and ever, but we're just going to do a few and check. Okay. So this one had a ratio of what, Malaya? What was Sheila's ratio?
I was looking at the 8 to 3.
Very good, 8 to 3. So we're going to put that right here, 8 to 3. We're going to keep scaling that up. So just to save some time, I'm going to ask you guys, let me say that again. I'm going to ask you guys to just shout it out, okay? So water, everybody.
16.
Very good. Juice.
6.
Water.
24.
Juice.
9.
Very good. Do we have a match yet? No? Okay. 32. 12. Do we have a match yet? All right. Woohoo! All right. So we have this match. So juice for each was 12. Max added 45 cups of water. Sheila, 32 cups of water. So who has the highest or higher of the two juice concentrate ratio? Max? All right. So final answer. Why Sheila?
I forgot.
You're looking for the highest
Oh,
concentrate water ratio. So you're looking for the person who has the most juicy juice. It's not watered down a lot. You want the least water. Sheila. So you've gone back and forth 2 times. What's your final answer? Sheila, you're correct. Who agrees with Christoph? All right, very good. So Sheila does have a higher juice concentrate to water ratio, and you would write that out in a sentence. I'm not going to spend time on our YouTube video doing that. So the next page is Victor and his smoothie recipes. I'm going to actually work up here. So here's his recipe 1. And he's using strawberries and other ingredients. All right, and then recipe 2, and that's going to involve strawberries and some other things. All right, it says his first recipe calls for 2 cups of strawberries, 7 cups of others. So that would go like this. All right, and then you keep scaling that up. Again, we're looking for a what? Common denominator, a common number. All right, and once we find that within the same column, we are good. Okay, so 2 to 7, what would the next one be? Shout it out, guys.
4 to 14.
4 to 14, what's the next one?
21.
6 to 21, and one more? 8 to 20. 28, all right. So the next recipe, he has 3 cups of strawberries, 9 cups of others. So strawberries next would be 6, other 18. The next one 9, 27. Do we have a match yet?
No.
We do have a match.
Oh, yes, it is.
Everybody look here.
16.
They both have 6 cups of strawberries, right? Or parts. I'm saying that's cups, but 6 parts strawberries. So the question was, which smoothie recipe has more strawberries compared to other ingredients? So if you're putting 6 out of 21 parts strawberries and compare that to 6 out of 18, which one has more strawberries? Less other stuff. All right. Who has more strawberries, less other stuff? Jacob.
Who was it? It was Sheila.
You're the wrong question.
Dang it.
We're talking about recipes here, buddy. Right here. You got it right in front of you.
Victor and who was the other person? It doesn't
It's
show.
Victor for both of them. He's got 2 recipes.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Recipe 2.
Recipe 2. Yes, you are correct, Jacob. And what made you say recipe 2?
Because
Recipe 2 is cut into bigger parts. Well, not cut, but divided into bigger parts.
So, can you elaborate on that a little more?
Because, so say you have a pie, if you divide it into 18 pieces, the pieces are going to be bigger than if you divide it into 21 pieces.
Very good. And yeah, nicely done. Okay. Any other questions or things you'd like to add? There's currently a wasp flying around our classroom, which seems to be quite distracting to everybody. We are going to move on. I'm going to pause this and see if I can handle the wasp situation. Please hold. All right, welcome back. The wasp crisis has been averted. We are now going on to lesson 12, ratio tables to double number lines. Double number lines are another tool that you can use for solving ratio questions. So far we've talked a little bit about proportions. We've talked about ratio tables the past few days, and today we're going to transfer that understanding to double number lines. They're all just tools to solve a ratio problem. So Chantel solves 3 math problems in 4 minutes. So we should underline that. 3 questions, 4 minutes. Then they set it up in a ratio table. So number of questions, 3. What are they counting by across here? What are they counting by? Stephanie? 3, she said really quietly. 3. What are they going to count by, or what are we going to count by down here? Everybody, nice and loud. 4. You got it, all right? Because this ratio says 3 math problems in 4 minutes. So, all right, are you guys ready?
Yep. Yes.
Ready? Go.
8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40.
Woohoo, good job. All right, so we are going to use that info down here. It says Chantel has soccer practice on Thursday evening. She has a half hour before practice to work on her math homework and to talk to her friends. A half hour consists of how many minutes? Our problem originally said 3 math problems in 4 minutes, and then they tell us a half an hour. So we need to put that in terms of minutes. How many minutes is that, Tori?
30.
Very good, 30. So let's write above that 30 minutes. The next part of this says she has 20 math skill work questions for homework, and she wants, I'm sorry, what? Oh, yes, thank you for correcting that. We had changed this when we were doing some modifications to this module to make it a little more user-friendly. So yours says 18. Trust me, you're welcome. All right, so she has 18 math skill questions for homework, and she wants to complete them before talking with her friends because Chantel has her priorities straight. All right, so we are going to make a double number line here. It says, how many minutes will Chantel have left after completing her math homework to talk to her friends? So this is what a double number line is going to look like. You draw one line, then you put another one right below it, but you give yourself an inch or two between the lines, okay? That will just let you have some room to write things that you need to write. So we need 2 labels, all right? So to figure out what you have for a label, you need to think about what your ratio was based on. What was our ratio based on? Not the numbers, but what was it talking about? Jordan?
Questions per minute?
Questions in minutes, good. So the top one, we're going to put questions. And down here, we're going to put minutes. All right, and then they gave us some more info. So we're going to draw a line like that. We are going to put the number of questions on top. It said that she answered how many questions originally? 3 questions, how many minutes? 4, good. So 3 to 4, and we're just going to keep scaling up until we get to the point where we can answer this next question here with the 18 skill work questions. Bless you. All right, so we're going to count by threes up here just like we did in a ratio table. So 3,
9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24.
that's good. All right, thank you. All right, let's count by what down here, everybody? 4. Are we ready? Go.
8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32.
32. All right, good job, guys. Now what we're going to do is figure out if Chantal has 18 problems for homework. How long will that take her? 18 problems. Hold on, I'm coming over to Mr. Joey. Go ahead, Joey.
24 minutes.
24 minutes, very good. So Joey looked up here, he saw 18 questions. That corresponds with 24 minutes. So there is how long it will take her. Our question said, how many minutes will Chantal have left after completing her math homework? So there's something we might need to do. What do you think that is, Tori?
We need to subtract 30 minus 24, and that leaves us 6 minutes to talk with your friends.
Beautiful. Nice job, Tori. So a lot of kids are going to say, oh, 24, and they think they've solved it, and they walk away and think they have a 100 on their paper. There's one more step, okay? So show your work 30 minus 24. Tori told us already, and that's, hopefully not too big of a stretch for anyone. That's 6, right? So you would need to write that in a sentence. Oops, I'm going to write Chantal. Chantal has 6 minutes left to talk with her friends. All right, so your homework tonight, kids, is a Lesson 12 exit ticket. It says Kyra is participating in a fundraiser walkathon. She walks 2 miles in 30 minutes. So quickly, how much is she walking in 1 minute? Or 1 minute, not 1 minute. How long is it going to take her to walk 1 mile? How long would it take her to walk 1 mile, Jordan?
25 minutes.
Nope. So we have, what would one of these be labeled, first of all? Stephanie? Miles, and this would be miles and minutes. Okay. And then we have the ratio of 2 miles, 30 minutes. So if we scaled this down, what would 1 mile be? Cassie, you think you know? Yeah, you're right.
15.
15, very good. So this would be 15 minutes. All right, what about 3 miles? Jordan?
5.
Very good, 45. So you would keep scaling this up until you got to the number you needed here, which is 7 miles, okay? So that's your homework to finish that up for tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for watching math. Your homework is the exit ticket. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.